Thankfully, I wasn't successful.
Not many people have the courage.
That Rachel was diagnosed with breast cancer.
People being a little more self-centered.
Looking for ways to celebrate community, to celebrate diverse cultures.
Have a great political journey.
And we have an ability to communicate and compromise where, divergent perspectives are at least able to have a debate and a healthy discussion.
To make sure that no matter what other people say, you're doing the right thing.
Sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good.
Nelson Mandela once said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we've lived, it's what difference we've made in other people's lives." Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Navneet Popley, and welcome to Impact Makers. Impact Makers is a podcast presented by FC Media House. FC Media House is a digital platform which is geared towards bringing stories of people who are leading miraculous, amazing, great lives, but also making sure that they are contributing positively to the society and the community as well. I'm very honored and grateful to our guest today, who is Honorable Mayor Dean Murdock. Dean, thank you so much for coming to our podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to join you.
Yeah, thank you. And this particular podcast is sponsored by FC Times newspaper. And joining me backstage is Hurjas Popley, who's a founder of the FC crew. Before I start, I'll do the territory acknowledgement. We acknowledge with respect the Lukwangan peoples on whose traditional territory our organization stands, and the Saanich, Esquimalt, and Songhees people whose traditional ties to these unceded lands continue to this day. All right, Dean, it is such an honor and pleasure to have you join us in Impact Makers podcast.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. I appreciate the invite to come and chat with you.
Okay, awesome. So Dean, tell me something about how it all started. I mean, you have a great political journey, and we all see you as a Saanich mayor. But how did it all start? I mean, you grew up in Saanich, and you went to University of Victoria. You were a counselor here, and then you became a mayor. So, how did this transition happen? What were the decisions that shaped to where you are today? Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. Great question. Not a short story, but I'll do my best to keep it short. I was born in Vancouver and raised in Richmond, just on the other side of the strait. I moved with my family to Saanich when I was in grade 6. And except for a period after university where I was an English teacher in Japan, have lived in Saanich my entire adult life. I would say a number of factors probably influenced my decision to get involved electorally. Certainly impacted my interest in politics. When I was young, my dad was injured on the job. He actually broke lower discs in his back, crushed them in an accident. He was working for Molson Brewery, and he never went back to work. Prognosis was that he would never walk again. He did, with surgery, eventually walk, but never return to work. What shaped me about that, I was very young when it happened. I was probably 5 years old. But I think impacted me or influenced me so much at that time was the outpouring of support that we experienced as a family. Family members, friends, people who were maybe acquaintances or coworkers of my parents would come by. They would, spend time with my dad while he was recovering. They would bring meals. They would offer to, drive my dad to appointments, which I think, in hindsight and as a parent now, I can appreciate what an incredible relief that would have been to my mom, who was largely parenting 2 young kids on her own while her husband was recovering from back surgery and learning to walk. And I think that that really impressed upon me the importance of community, of the people that we gather around us. We are most effective when we work together and when we support each other. And I think that's a lesson that has just repeated itself over and over for me throughout my life. Any success I've known has been the result of a community of people who have supported me along the way. And that's true of our community generally. We achieve nothing without working together. And I always have been interested in being involved in community building, in the very foundations of what makes a community great. And politics has always been sort of a vehicle to be involved in community and to try and help make community better and improve the place where we live. And that's really been a lifelong love. I was on the student council when I was in high school. I was involved early on in electoral politics right out of high school. I ran for school board, and thankfully, I wasn't successful, but it was an interesting learning experience. I studied political science at UVic. I have a master's degree in political
Wow.
science. I even taught political science at Camosun. So it's very much a part of my who I am.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to now be on this side of a career in politics where I've spent 14 years in elected politics and more than 20 years of running in electoral politics. And to now be looking at that in the rearview mirror is, it's kind of an interesting switch. I didn't expect it to come quite so soon.
Uh-huh. So you talk about community, and what I'm seeing now is a lot of individualistic approach, people being a little more self-centered and not thinking about other people. But where you come from, you're all about community and public service. And not all politicians think politics is public service.
Hmm.
So during your tenure, I mean, you're still a mayor, but during your tenure as a mayor and when you were a counselor during all these political tenures, how have you made sure that people understand the importance of togetherness, the importance of community? Are there any policies that you've made or encouraged so that people come closer together and they
Hmm.
are able to help each other? Especially during COVID, we've seen a lot of people coming together, a lot of people going apart also, but
Yes.
then a lot of people coming together to support each other. So how have you encouraged that feeling of togetherness in people?
Yeah, I think that social connection is so key to who we are. I mean, isolation has such a significant detrimental effect on our health and well being. And connection does exactly the opposite. It recharges us, it renews us. And in fact, it can extend your longevity and your health. So it's so important that we continue to stay connected as a community, as a species, even as technology and new platforms emerge that seem to be pulling us farther and farther apart. I'd say that that only puts a greater emphasis and urgency on the need to bring people together. And one of the great things about this level of government, local government, is that you really can foster social connection. You can introduce activities and spaces and events in the community that allow people to gather. And really, I have found, particularly post pandemic, that people are looking for those opportunities to come together. They're looking for ways to celebrate community, to celebrate diverse cultures, experience food and music and dance, um, things that people want to share with each other and celebrate. And the more we're able to put together events and activities and create spaces, particularly green spaces, natural
Mhm.
spaces where people can enjoy each other's company and forge those bonds, that I think is so critical. That more than anything else, people need a place to live. So housing is important. People need to be able to get around. So transportation is important. But the thing that makes community is those social bonds and bringing people together. And to me, that has really been one of the most important parts of the job.
And I remember the first time when we met you, we were at Beckwood Park.
Yes.
And it was a social event which was happening. And my first impression was, oh my God, such a handsome Hulk. And then I realized you were campaigning for being a mayor at that
Yes.
time. And what struck me was the way you were talking to people and to all ages
Yeah.
of people. And you made sure that they were comfortable, and there was a lot of compassion and kindness in the way you talked. And that actually showed in your tenure as a mayor too.
Thank
And
you.
I think people really connected with you and were comfortable with you. And you really made sure that those green spaces were there, and opportunities for people to come together and enjoy themselves. It's very important for people because we are immigrants. Like, we came 6.5 years back in Canada.
Mhm.
So we really appreciate the kind of opportunities that you and your government have created for everybody. It made us very comfortable with people of all communities.
That's wonderful.
So that it's important for everybody to grow together.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you so much for
Oh,
that.
thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for being part of that. And I think for your family has been so engaged in community and supporting people in our community. And the world needs more of that. So thank you for being great people and great examples for our community and people all over the.
Thank you so much, Dean. Um, so let's come to your family. I mean, who all are there in your family? You've got such a beautiful family. You want
Thank
to
you.
talk about that?
Yeah. So I have a couple of kids.
Hmm.
My kids are 14 and 16, so they are two teenagers in the house. Both of them now high school students. Wonderful kids. I'm so delighted that we have the chance to raise them in this great community where we've got abundant natural beauty and diverse cultures and experiences that they can learn from and contribute to. They go to a great school. They have great teachers. I'm married to a wonderful person named Rachel, who is the love of my life, and I'm so grateful to have her in my life, and really has been the thing that's kept me grounded and kept me inspired in any aspect of life, but particularly in elected life. Your head doesn't get too big when you walk through your own door in your own home, and people remind you that your dad and husband and the guy who should be cutting the lawn or taking the garbage out or getting the meals started, and that particularly in an elected role when you have a job like being the mayor, it's good to have that humility as part of
Right.
your regular life.
Yeah, and I remember during the campaign also, Rachel was your biggest supporter, always
Mm,
cheering the highest for you. But you've been very vocal and very open about the struggle that Rachel had to go through during her breast cancer. So
hmm.
again, grateful because not many people have the courage to talk about their personal struggles out there in public. But then it's very important to generate that cancer awareness for everybody.
Yeah.
We still don't know what are the resources which exists, and if there's a problem, where to go to, and how to handle and tackle this, especially for the immediate family.
Hmm.
So would you, and you yourself have taken a number of initiatives to make sure that people are made aware of this. So what are the things that are important for people to know? What are the initiatives? What are the resources? How do people become more aware of this disease?
Yeah. It has so cancer and the diagnosis and treatment and recovery from cancer has had such a profound impact on my family. It was just over a year ago in May of 2025 that Rachel was diagnosed with breast cancer. She went through really a year of treatment, chemo, surgery, radiation, and longer term hormone therapy. She's doing well. She's
Yeah.
cancer is gone, and she's now into a preventative stage of treatment. Um, I think with so first and foremost, the care that Rachel received and the support we received through the BC Cancer Agency has been phenomenal.
Hmm. Hmm.
For all of the things you hear about our healthcare system, the experience we had with BC Cancer has been second to none. And so we are truly fortunate to have been so well looked after and cared for. I think people probably are not aware of the statistics. It's 1 in 8 that women will get breast cancer,
Oh my God.
and it unfortunately a very common disease. In fact, cancer is the single greatest cause of death across Canada. One of the things we, of course, know from breast cancer is the importance of screening, mammography, but it's also advocacy. One of the things that Rachel experienced was having to insist on mammogram and biopsy to
Mm-hmm.
confirm what she had believed to be a tumor. And was ultimately confirmed. Initially, the I think healthcare providers are a bit resistant to the idea that it might be cancerous. No, it's probably nothing, but we better send you just to be sure. And thankfully, that did happen. Rachel at the time didn't have a family doctor, so got herself an appointment at the clinic, got herself seen by a physician, got a referral to screening mammography. And from that point on, it was just rapid fire mammogram to
Mm-hmm.
ultrasound to biopsy, and a battery of tests: CT scans, MRIs, blood work, bone density scans, heart function tests, really everything that they can put you through to confirm what's going on inside. So I would say the most important thing for people to do, for women to do, is insist on screening, just to confirm that that's not something that's actually going on. And then for men as well, there's prostate cancer is a major factor for men. There is a prostate cancer screen blood test that
Mm-hmm.
men can take. So more than anything else, it's just awareness of probabilities, and finding available testing if you do think that something might be going on.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned some of the initiatives that I've been involved in. One of the things we committed to early on in this experience was turning it into a positive,
Okay.
and finding ways to help others. Once it was clear that Rachel's cancer was something that she was going to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she dedicated her full energies to that. How we could help other people who were on a similar journey, how we could ensure that the awareness was out there about cancer screening and the risks to people, and if we can help raise money for research and support for families. Early on, while Rachel was in treatment, we organized a team for Run for the Cure and did fundraising. Of course, people will know the Run for the Cure is an annual event for
Mm-hmm.
breast cancer research and support. And then this summer, I've signed up to do Cycle for Cancer,
Wow.
and I love biking.
Uh-huh.
And for me, it just seemed like a great way to be able to raise funds for cancer research and to support individuals and families who are going through cancer treatment and recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's been a great experience to see people contribute to join the team. I had people reaching out to me to join the Run for the Cure team who I knew through other people but didn't know directly, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm going to be there to come run with you," and that this can be used as an opportunity to make people aware that this is a very real risk for women,
Right.
and that we can help support others who are on this journey.
Awesome. No, really, Dean, this is a great initiative, and thanks for this, because most of the people, both men and women, are so scared of this.
Yeah.
They would probably try to avoid
Yes.
this saying, oh, that this might not be cancer, this might be something else. So
Yes.
it's really important for people to actually go in for screening. And again, you'd mentioned advocacy and telling the doctors probably do more tests. It
Hmm.
might be anything, and it's good that people are, for example, for your wife, you were able to detect it early on, so that raised a lot of chances for dealing with it very, very quickly, and that really helped everybody. That's great. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing this. And is there a way that people can connect with you? Is there a website or a link?
Yes, maybe we can put the link up because I
Yeah.
don't have it memorized.
Okay.
But it's through cancer.ca. It's the BC Cancer Society. and or sorry, Canadian Cancer Society,
Okay.
and yeah, all of the funds that will be raised for Cycle for Cancer will go towards cancer research and supporting individuals and families in treatment and recovery. I'm challenging myself to try and do 500 kilometers this month. It's for the entire month of July.
Wow.
I typically ride around 15 kilometers a day as part of a
Awesome. Mhm,
workday commuting.
mhm,
And so, that easily translates to 300
mhm,
kilometers in the month. So I want to challenge myself to do a bit more.
mhm.
It might mean, taking a ride out to Sydney or something to make
Okay.
sure I make it to 500 kilometers. But that's my goal, to challenge myself and to try and, challenge and inspire others
Others.
to
Uh-huh.
get involved and contribute and help out folks who really are at a time in life where uh, they need that support.
Mhm, mhm.
And
So, guys, if you're listening to this, go to the page, the Cycle for Cancer page, and whenever Dean is going to Sydney,
yeah,
please go ahead and go with him 500 kilometers in the month of July and raise money for cancer awareness and cancer research. Very important for your community.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Dean. And personal struggles apart, there are a number of personal struggles, but even as a mayor, I'm sure varies a head which wears a crown. So I'm sure there would be a number of difficult things that you would have faced in your tenure as a mayor too. So, what were some of the very, very difficult, pressurized decisions
Mhm.
that you had to take, and how did you stay grounded at that time?
Yeah, great question, or questions. We have gone through a lot of change this term, a lot of things that council took on that, I think are necessary changes, transformative changes, really responsive to the needs of a growing community. But of course, change can be difficult, and it can inspire a lot of pushback, resistance, even frustration and anger. And that's been difficult to deal with
Hmm.
for sure. When you're doing what you hope is the right thing, whether that's a planning process that anticipates more growth around our corridors, centers, and villages, changes to our roadway to make our transportation options safer and more convenient for everyone. Make some people feel like the things that they enjoy are at risk,
Hmm.
and that they're at the very least they are changing. And when you're met with a lot of frustration and anger and anger that I hadn't previously experienced as an elected official, some of our meetings really engendered a lot of outrage from folks, and that was hard to take. I got into this as we talked about at the beginning, because I want to try and help community and bring people together and make life better for
Hmm.
people. And so seeing that kind of anger and upset is really difficult.
Yeah.
Um, Even when you know that ultimately the things they're saying are not, the doom saying that they're calling for is not actually going to happen. That
Hmm.
this is going to be a
Hmm.
gradual change and ultimately will make them and their kids and grandkids better off. At that time when you're making that decision, it's a tough one. And when you're in elected politics, you want to try and make everybody happy.
Hmm.
It's not possible to make everybody happy, and it is difficult to see the consequences that come along with that when people are not just unhappy but mad about what's going on.
Uh-huh.
In addition to the some of our planning processes and some of the initiatives we undertook to borrow to replace the operations center, for example, and do infrastructure and facility replacement, we also dealt with changes to where dogs could be on leash and off
Hmm.
leash in our
Hmm.
park. And, that has been and continues to be the hardest thing that we've dealt with. Even through Quadrant Mackenzie and
Really?
all of the other controversial items we had, there were people who got involved in that process who'd never previously been engaged in local government
Oh,
politics,
wow.
who were mad one way or the other about what was going to happen. And people are still frustrated by it. I think council did everything it could to try and balance the needs of different interests. But ultimately, it meant a lot of people were unsatisfied or
Hmm.
dissatisfied with the outcome, don't like where they can't walk their dog off leash, or don't like the dogs are off leash in a particular part of their favorite park. And I think it'll take a while for tempers to cool and people to adjust to that
Hmm.
change. But I've had people come up to me who I would call friends who, swore up and down about what was happening. And that was a tough one. That
Oh,
was
I can only imagine.
the decision wasn't unexpected. The reaction, I think, was more than I expected.
Oh, wow. I can easily imagine. Oh, it would have been so much difficult for you. And I've seen you in council meetings and the way you take tough decisions, but you still try to stand for what's right. It's not normally easy. I
Hmm.
mean, when people are so mad and people are so angry, you probably want to soften up a bit. But what I've seen, and I'm not seen a number of council meeting, but what I've seen is that if you think that there's something right, you would normally stand up for it no matter what, because ultimately I think you know what is right in the long term. So yeah, it's
Thank you.
it's
I mean, not without compromise. There
uh-huh.
definitely were things that, we had started in one direction and ended up having to make some measured changes. But, what I told myself from the get-go was that I didn't want to have regrets about the decisions we'd made.
Awesome.
At some point, you find yourself out of politics, whether you do that voluntarily or you are voted out of office. And you will have an opportunity to reflect on the decisions you made. And you have to be right with those decisions and know that the thing that you did was what you felt was best for the community. And I have reminded myself of that with every decision, through the easy ones and through the challenging ones. I have to be right with this.
Oh wow, that's the great advice. Just to be honest
Yeah.
with yourself, to make sure that no matter what other people say, you're doing the right thing. That's actually quite important for all the politicians to get inside them. Honesty.
I think so. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Again, your comment earlier, that politicians don't always recognize that they're there in service of the community.
Hmm.
I think it's true that it's important that you stand by your values, and that you want to be able to recognize yourself at the end of the journey. You don't want to have compromised and contorted yourself to the point where you can no longer see the person that you were when you came into the process.
Awesome. So you're very proud of yourself.
I don't know if I'm proud of myself. I have a sense of pride in what we were able to accomplish.
Awesome. That's great.
I don't view it as anything I did that's unique. It's really the ability to work together to make important changes happen. And the counselors and I, none of us are friends outside of the council chamber, but we all get on well enough. We
Hmm.
respect each other, and we have an ability to communicate and compromise where divergent perspectives are at least able to have a debate and a healthy discussion. And I think that's what's so important in a democracy. Shouting each other down is not going to solve anything. It's just going to drive people away from the process. You need to create a space where everybody feels like they can make a contribution. And I'm very proud of the contributions that all 9 members of council have made.
No, we are also really, really proud of the decisions that you've made, and that has made Saanich such a beautiful place to be, such a nice place to be. And I'm really happy my children are here and are able to enjoy the opportunities that you and your council have been able to create. But tell me something, there must have been some very touching moments where people would have come to you and said, this was a really nice decision, or this helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Can you recall those incidents?
Yeah, they're few and far between because most of the time you hear people's frustration or complaints about something that's going on in the community. And maybe it's a product of things generally being pretty good. And so when there is something that really irritates somebody, they take the time to tell you about it. In the hope that you can help fix it for
Yeah,
them. And that's
right.
always, the aim is to try and fix it or make things better for people. But some of the things that I hear that doesn't often get printed in the paper is if somebody contacts you and says, if you just were able to make this change in my neighborhood, it would make my life so much easier.
Hmm.
If you could add this garbage bin at the end of the pathway for everybody who's walking with their dog to be able to put their waste from their dog in the bin instead of throwing it into the forest. When you're able to make those little things happen, adding a crosswalk with a signalized crossing,
Right.
those little things are the things that people really appreciate. On the bigger level, you occasionally hear from people things like, I'm so glad that there's family suitable housing in my neighborhood because it means my kids will have a place to move to, or my grandkids will be able to come over on Sundays for dinner because they live in the community, because these townhouses were built or there were
Hmm.
options that their family could afford. And the one that has probably been most controversial is bike lanes.
Oh, yeah.
You hear so much about bike lanes, but I have met so many families that get around on a bike, on a cargo bike with their young kids, and they're able to do that because there's a safe place for them to
Hmm.
ride.
Right.
And I know they can be frustrating to drivers. I understand that it means a disruption as of the regular commuting experience. But if you're giving somebody the opportunity to get around safely in the community, they can't afford a car,
Hmm.
but they can afford a bike.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're able to get to where they need to go safely, to me, that's profound. That's significant. And it's nice to get that kind of positive feedback and try and filter some of the negative ones you hear and blend it with some of the positive things too.
It's really nice you said that, Dean, that they're not able to afford cars, because most of the times people who are in the cars would not even think about that aspect, that there are people with affordability issues. So
Mm-hmm.
they're not driving a car because probably they can't afford one.
That's right.
And they have to go from one place to another, and bike is the safest and the only way they can travel. So but that's what happens with people. I mean, when you're in a sort of a privileged position,
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult to even think about the problems that people are facing. So it's nice that you are able to get the thought process of so many different kind of people, and then you're able to find out what is the right solution
Yeah.
to the right problem. So that's really awesome, and
Thank you.
you should you should do more podcasts like these.
I appreciate the opportunity. If you know people who want to have a retired politician on the podcast, I'm available.
No, but this is something which is really important for people to listen to. That there are people with diverse kind of problems, and
Hmm.
when you get mad at something, think about everything,
Yeah.
not just your own problem. Policies is being made for the entire community, not just for one individual.
One of the things we hear a lot when people don't get what they want or what they're asking for is that council's not listening. And I think what that discounts is all of the perspectives council is listening to and considering in the decision. Yeah, maybe the decision doesn't directly benefit you as an individual, but maybe the intent of the decision is to try and create advantages for people who are otherwise disadvantaged in our community. And I think housing has become emblematic of that. Not,
Mhm.
well, these days, most people can't afford a single family home. Even those of us who live in a single family home probably couldn't afford to buy it now at today's prices. Recognizing that there's a whole range of people in our community who for whom the dream of single family home ownership is, that's a distant
Oh yeah.
opportunity. So making sure that we have homes in our community that serve everyone is so important. Similarly for transportation, whether
Hmm.
it's getting around on bike or on a bus, finding way or creating greater walkability and safer spaces for people to walk. There are a lot of folks who either can't drive or can't afford a car or choose to get around differently because it's
Hmm.
not convenient for them to do that. And it doesn't mean that council's not listening when they make those decisions. It means that council is trying to consider all the perspectives and everyone who would potentially benefit.
Awesome. So people, if you're listening to this, Remember, council is listening, but there's so many different perspectives that they have to consider. So when they make a policy, when they make a decision, if it's not probably right for you, think about other people in your community. It may be better for them. So I'm very grateful to you, Mayor Dean Murdock, because you've made such important decisions for us, for Saanich residents, and we've actually benefited from all those decisions, from your housing decisions, from your bike lanes decisions, from the affordability decisions, from the health decisions. And I know it's not been easy for you, but staying in that position, sometimes being tough, sometimes being soft, is a really, really difficult thing to do. So hats off to you
Thank you.
for doing all of that. Again, really, really thankful to you for coming to this podcast and sharing your ideas, your journey, and your thoughts with us. So thankful to you. But again, I told you this has to be a fun podcast.
Yes. Let's have some fun.
Let's have
Yes.
some fun.
Yes.
So you're a guitarist, you're a singer, and
Yeah.
you're a great biker. So one good song to end the podcast.
Okay. So we were talking before we started recording that when I was a kid, my mom was a big Neil Diamond
Mm-hmm.
fan. And so Sweet Caroline is probably the best known Neil Diamond song. So
Yay.
do you want me to sing us out? Is that the idea? So
Yeah.
people can
Yes.
actually, when they
Yes.
hear me sing, they can stop listening to the podcast?
No, they can probably listen to it again. Now,
Okay.
this is the Dean Murdoch. You want to listen to him again now.
Maybe I should just do the chorus. How about that? Because that's the part everybody knows.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet Caroline, bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good, so good, so good, so good. I've been inclined, bum, bum, bum,
Bum.
to believe they never would. Oh, no, no.
Sweet Caroline.
You got it.
Yay!
Sweet Caroline.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dean, for coming to the podcast. Really, really thankful to you. And we hope that your journey further is again filled with lots of love, lots of
Thank you.
joy, lots of support, and lots of achievements
Thank
in
you.
whatever you do.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much.
you for the chance to come and join you. This has been great.
Perfect. Thanks.